All right, Calgary man down. Next 25 seconds, Lewis Ratcliffe with the ball, directing traffic. 4-1 Toronto Rock with our first quarter lead. Ratcliffe alone has the ball, cradles it, deciding what to do with it. Plays it across the floor. Koleski spins off a check, now reverses his field. And he's going to kill 30 seconds. Turn it over to Toronto. 3:43 remaining. Toronto with 5 seconds remaining in the man advantage situation. Manning with the ball, gives it to the trailing Veltman. Veltman, there's a shot and knocked down by Avery. Sanderson goes for the ball in the corner. Comes out with it, closing it on goal. Now goes to the middle of the floor, shoots and scores. A shot by Calgary from close in. Big rebound. Picked up by Koleski. Shots on goal, 27-19. Koleski on the run, shoots and scores. And maybe he'll get Tracy out of a slump. He told me this week he's doing too much thinking. He just got to let her rip, and that's what he did.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about Western. I think there's one guy you're going to hear an awful lot from, of, and about. If you're just hearing his name for the first time, it won't be the last. Tyler Fiddler.
Tyler Fiddler is just a great player. First of all, he's got great size. He plays on the perimeter, so a 6'8", 6'9" player on the perimeter. His shot is very, very technically sound.
BSC Western coming in as the #1 ranked team in the tournament. We'll see if they live up to that against Lester B. Pearson. Part of the HSBC Higher Hoops Classic. A lot of what has gone on this week has been on the court, but just as much excitement off the court with a variety of scholarships. 79-78. Full court press as Scarlett brings the ball up court. And a steal out of that with the ball. She has a possible 3-on-2 pull up at the baseline. She fires too long. Rebound is pulled down by Scarlett, and we have a foul in the backcourt. It is a bonus situation right now. That's their 7th. Well, Katie has been on the court. We've played 39.5 minutes. I'm going to say she's logged 35. I don't think I'm overstating the case.
I think you're right, at least that.
Johnson on the line, hits the front end of the bonus. 80-78.
So this is interesting here, whether it's going to be a 2 or 3 point split. There's only 35 seconds left in the game.
It's 3, 81-78. So Churchill, they do have to put it up before the end of the game. Obviously they want to. Arbuthnot drives and she walks. Turnover.
Right fielder Trey Beeman.
He's hitting overall .330 with men in scoring position. 1 out and 1 on, and the Cannons leading 1-0. The outfield is straight away. As Bill Kruger comes to the belt, starts Trey off of the pitch. Breaking ball is a strike at the knees call. That wind is still strong towards left. It has slowed somewhat, but still could give a ball a boost hit that way. Kruger bluffs to go to second. And Beeman backs out of the box. Kevin Polkovich on second with 1 out. Here's Beeman back in the batter's box. Kruger checks the runner. The 1 strike offering is swung on, fisted foul, left field side and out of play. And we have a 2-strike count. 1 run on 4 hits. We mentioned the Rainiers have been shuffling the deck. A couple of deals just in the last couple of days. As Kruger comes to the belt, the left-hander steps off the rubber, and Polkovich walks back towards second. Here's the 2-strike pitch to Trey. A fastball just misses the outside corner. Jim Converse, who had pitched here last year, awarded to the Kansas City Royals as the player to be named later in the Vince Coleman trade. So he's gone.
The 1-ball, 2-strike pitch is swung on by Trey. Pulled down the right field line by the diving Litton into right field. Rolls down the line. Rolls to the fence. Bukovic comes in to score. Trey makes the turn at second. He is heading for third. Here's the relay. He slides into third, safe with a triple down the right field line. Litton dove for the ball. It was by him between his glove and the line. Are in their home whites with the emerald green numbers and Rainier stitched across their uniforms. Cheney Stadium, 325 down the lines, 425 to straight center field, 385 to the power alleys. The outfield is double decked, foul pole to foul pole, 20 feet, except in dead center field where a dark blue batter's eye rises 35 feet above the diamond. So hit the ball out in dead center field is indeed quite a blast. We're about ready to get things going as Darryl Ratliff will bat. Darryl is playing center field in place of Jermaine Allensworth, who has a bit of a shoulder strain that he aggravated last night, and he'll take the day off, and Darryl will bat as far as the leadoff spot is concerned and play in center field. Darryl was 0 for 2 last night when he came in to pinch hit. Oh, Darryl steps in, takes a couple of practice hacks, and we're about ready to going as Tim Hericola ties up his shoelaces behind the mound. Slender right-hander, 6'2", 185. Hericola, last year's pitcher of the year in the Mariners organization, but has found the transition to the AAA level very tough this year. Some of it lack of run support, and some of it, why, he just hasn't got the job done. And here's the first pitch. Hercules fastball swing, and a ball tapped to the shortstop and by the shortstop. Sheets into center field for a base hit. Sheet ranged behind second base and unable to come up with the ball. So Darryl aboard with a leadoff single. Hericola, fastball with a curve and a change and a slider. Fastball occasionally peaks into the low 90s. And he works from the set position right off the bat. Eric Johnson struggling to keep that average above the 300 mark as the season concludes. EJ at 298 with 3 homers and 57 runs batted in. Throw over to first. Darryl Ratliff is in standing up. The Tacoma outfield this afternoon has Darren Bragg in left, Harold Sherman in center, and Gary Thurman is in right. There's a slight breeze blowing towards right field. Now another throw to keep Ratliff honest. Game time temperature 66 degrees. A very pleasant afternoon on this long holiday weekend. Hericola comes set. To the plate, the pitch is high. Ball 1 on Eric. Last night he was 1 of 4. He has really tailed off in August, where he's hitting 194 during that month and these first couple of days of September. Outfield straightaway for Eric. Hericola's 1-ball pitch is a breaking ball strike. And Eric thought the pitch was high. He backs away from the batter's box. Now taps the spikes and gets back in. Ratliff into a lead at first. Hericola checks him and comes set. He delivers the 1-ball, 1-strike pitch. Fastball low. 2-1. Left side of the Tacoma infield, Brian Terang at third. Andy Sheets at the shortstop. On the right side, Desi Relaford and Greg Litton, and Litton is watching Darryl Ratliff. Ratliff gets a good lead at first. Hericola throws back, keeps Darryl honest. Darryl has 9 steals and 15 tries this season. Right-hand hitting Johnson gets ready. Here's the 2-1 pitch. The runner goes. The pitch is swung on and fouled to the screen. And the count is 2-2 as Darryl broke for second. Bobby Meacham in the third base coaching box. Ben Ogilvie at first. You heard Bobby on the pregame show saying that he would love to come back to Calgary in '96. Made that known. Will it happen? We'll see in the next few weeks as some decisions of that nature will be made by those that make those decisions. Aricola sets. Now throws again over to first. Harrelson standing up. Keep you up to date on all the Major League activity as the Labor Day weekend signals the kickoff of those heated stretch drive pennant runs. Here's the 2-ball, 2-strike pitch. A breaking ball swing and a foul line out of the grandstand. First base side, and the count holds at 2-2. Trey Beeman rests on his bat in the on-deck circle. Cannon's in the third base dugout. Rainier's in the first base dugout. EJ's hanging tough here. The stretch and the 2-2 delivery inside with a fastball, and the count runs full. Well, we mentioned last night that Tony Phillips was going to pitch early. He was going to pitch in long relief and darn near everything else because the Rainiers were really strapped for pitching. They were able to milk a couple of innings out of Kevin Campbell. We'll talk about that in a moment. And the payoff pitch, the runner goes. The pitch is swung on, fly ball deep towards left center field. Giving chase is Darryl Sherman. He races towards the track and makes the over-the-shoulder grab for the out. He went a long way deep to left center field. So Eric gave that a ride. And Sherman caught up with the ball. One out for Trey Beeman. It's a very, very spacious outfield. Here at Cheney Stadium and in Calgary, that likely would have been off the wall. Here it's a long run-down fly ball out. So there's one out. Darryl Ratliff returns to first for Trey Beeman. He hits from the left side. Pitch to him is a fastball strike called. Trey last night was 2 for 4 with an RBI, 3 of 8 in the series. Of course, Calgary's 95 most valuable player. A middle infield is back on Trey. As Aricola comes set. His 1-strike pitch out. Kruder takes that in the right batter's box. Ratliff not going on the play. So it's 1-1. Getting back to that Tacoma pitching situation, they had to get 7+ innings out of Phillips. They were so decimated with pitchers. They were able to milk a couple of innings out of Kevin Campbell as Aricola stretches. And Ratliff goes the 1-1. He bluffs and held back outside. 2-1. Anyway, down to 7 pitchers. When Campbell looked like he might run into trouble last night, they were forced to warm up their designated hitter, who in the case of last night was Gary Thurman. Throw back to first. Darrell's in standing up. Outfield is playing Trey straight away. Anyway, the situation is a little better today. A couple of pitchers, a Clint Gould from nearby Renton, Washington. As Aricola comes set. Bluffing again is Ratliff. 2-1 is low and away. Fastball. And it's 3 balls and 1 strike to Trey. Clint Gould, who has pitched in the Independent Northern League for the Thunder Bay, Ontario Whiskey Jacks. And the gentleman by the name of John Thompson have arrived for some help. Here's the 3-1. The runner goes. The throw down, but it's ball 4 on the outside pitch. So 2 are aboard for Rich Audet. Anyway, to make the story complete, the Rainiers do have a little help in pitching. It's an emergency situation.
First baseman number 48, Rich
Where Thompson comes up from Bellingham and Gould comes from Thunder Bay. Rich Audet, the big Calgary right-hand hitting first baseman, into the batter's box. Rich 1 for 4 with a couple of RBIs, a double, then was hit on the elbow with the bases loaded. Outfield backs up for Rich. Here's the pitch, a fastball taken for a strike at the knees. Strike 1 called. Outfield backs up on Rich. 1 out and a couple of men aboard as we are just underway in Cheney Stadium. Aricola comes set, checks the runners. The strike 1 pitch is a fastball swing and a ball fisted foul over the Rainiers dugout. A 2-strike count on Rich. Micah Franklin, last night's home run hero. Swings in the on-deck circle. Brian Turang backs up at third. Ricola comes set. His two-strike delivery is a fastball low. 1-2. Chad Kruder catching a day game today after a night game last night. Chris Howard took a ball off the left wrist from John Lieber, a pitched ball the other night. As Ricola delivers the 1-2 pitch, a fastball low. 2-2. And he goes off the mound, grabs some rosin, now gets back up on top of the hill. Anyway, Chris may play in the season finale tomorrow. And a bruise on the wrist. Ricola shakes off one side. Now the right-hander comes set. Here's the pitch, a fastball low, and he runs the count again, full at 3-2 to Rich Audet. Oh, he's throwing a lot of pitches early. Two on and one out. Here's the payoff pitch to Rich. A breaking ball misses low and outside. And the bases are full for Micah Franklin. Well, Micah parked one in right center last night. And we have time called as sprinting out of the Rainiers dugout as pitching coach Jeff Andrews. Ricola seems to be all over the place right now. He's walked batters back to back. Darryl Radliff singled up the middle to get things going. Eric Johnson gave the ball a good ride. And Darryl Sherman had to race a long way to left center field to flag that down. Then he's walked back-to-back batters, so certainly he's been back on his heels in terms of his pitching already, and we're in the first inning. One out, the base is full. Darryl Radliff's at third, Trey Beeman at second, and Rich Audet just loaded things up. He's standing at first, chatting with Ben Ogilvy. Cannons, of course, in their road grays with the gray top and gray trousers. Blue numbers and the red trim.